Hi guys, a little bit more about title insurance. And well, I bet you guys didn't know I drink coffee. So life is good. Cut. Do what you love, like what you do. Cut. Coffee. What was I going to talk about? Oh, title insurance. Much more at realestateindustrywhistleblower.com. This is kind of a biggie. Do you need title insurance? No. Should you get it? Yes. Basically, it's a big wad of money, and the title company that closes the deal, they don't usually get a whole lot of money to close the deal. Where they make their money is the title insurance. Now, the title insurance is supposed to insure the title, right? The public kind of thinks, I used to think that the title insurance would protect me. It would basically look at my real estate transaction and protect all the elements within that real estate transaction. So could be personal property, it could be, the address, the acreage type, the easements and mineral rights and water rights. And I mean, the title insurance, the illusion of the title insurance is that it protects you for all of this stuff, right? And maybe I was naive, maybe I just had a lot to learn, but I don't know what you consumers know out there about what the real deal is about the title insurance. The real deal is you're not really paying for anything but for someone else to interfere in your transaction again. I mean, the title insurance insures a legal description, okay? So I've seen situations where the wrong legal description was on the title insurance, was on the buy-sell actually, and there's nothing the title insurance could do to help the seller because they said, well, we don't insure. See, what had happened was the seller accidentally sold a 40 and they were trying to sell a 20 and the legal description was wrong. The title company you have to ask these questions, by the way, at the closing. If you think anything at all is fishy, just stop it. Do not move forward because it can be a heck of a battle later. But the title company insures a legal description and not an acreage size, not a physical address. So if you bought, one Central and the legal description was a certain thing, then you think you're buying one Central, for example, but really the legal description was for something completely on the other side of town. Okay, so they don't check the legal description with the address. You have to do that. You have to look at a map and look at the legal description and drive there. I would talk to a local Forest Service, a surveyor, get someone else to show that property. Can you buy the wrong property? Oh yeah. Can you buy the wrong acreage size? Oh yeah. Will the title insurance protect you from that? So, okay. Title insurance has nothing to do with personal property, right? So the buy-sell can say all this different personal property you get with it. Well, they don't insure for that. That's nothing to do with that. Okay, title insurance, does that tell you whether or not you have legal access to the property? No. In some states, I think it's actually on the title. In the states that I've worked in, it's not on the title, and you have no clue. I've had some people I've had people that found out, one guy found out because he'd moved into the property earlier and the neighbor mentioned something, and so a battle, played out before the contract was closed. But a lot of times the battles play out years down the road when you figure it out that you didn't really have legal access. So just because you drive on a road to a property doesn't mean you have access to it. You'd think that was a no-brainer, but it really gets complicated when you get locked out of your property, And so they don't ensure that you have access to the property. And shockingly enough, neither does the lender. You can go to a closing and the lender may not know or ask or have you prove that you have legal access. The title insurance, the realtor and the seller can say, oh yeah, that's no problem. I've been driving there for years. You might think it's actually that property. You might think you have a legal easement across the neighbor's property. Okay? We have to prove that. First of all, your title insurance is not going to show your access over someone else's property. Not in my world. I'm sure it's different for some of you folks out there. But in my world, you have got to get the neighbor's title insurance. And, that's unethical to do, even though some people do that because that shows their debt. But you need some part of it. So have the title company get you a legal recorded easement. Because if the property you're buying, it doesn't encumber that property, right? It's not a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. So it's a negative thing to the other property, so it's going to be on their title insurance. So you want to make sure and say, look, I need a document, not a buy-sell, never a buy-sell. Not a letter from the seller, not a letter from the realtor, not an email, not a video, nothing. What you need is a legal document of a road that has been surveyed, right? And that is recorded at the courthouse. Okay, a recorded legal document that says you have easement. And I would also call that neighbor up and ask them, does this property have easement over your property? And even if you have legal easement and they say no, and you know, they give you attitude, you know you're in for a fight. So you need to know these things before you sign. So there's a lot of things that can come up where the title insurance doesn't protect you. So really, my first year in real estate, a gal said, I don't want to use title insurance, that's nothing. That means nothing. And I said, well, you need to use it because what the title insurance will do is it'll protect you. If you, the buyer, buy a seller's property and they could have debt on it, oh my goodness, you don't want to do a quick claim because there could be all kinds of debt on the property. And if you use a title company, then the title company will make sure the debt's paid off. Okay? So you go to closing, the title company pulls first loans, second loans, any sort of liens on the property, tax liens, whatever, and the title company pays it off. Okay? So that's what you need title insurance for, and that's what I told them. Well, what if they miss it? I seen them miss one for $500,000, and I had to stop the closing because I saw it. Okay? So $500,000 debt that would have later maybe been put on the buyer, or maybe there'd have been a lawsuit against the title company, but either way the seller would have had it and they'd be at the beach and they'd be gone and there's no way to catch them, right? So I don't trust that that can happen. So as a buyer, you want to make sure, look at that title insurance and make sure that all of those liens are paid, okay? Because it's not necessarily something that happens. And shockingly enough, I had a client buying in Idaho, and we were, you know, signing everything, and the seller was going to pay for the title insurance, and then the realtor was trying to sell an additional title insurance. Yeah, talk about affiliations. Anyway, we're like, well, what's this title insurance about? Well, see, you sign the buy-sell now, and there's 30 days or 60 days of escrow, and during that 60 days, the seller could get another loan on the property. And this insurance makes it so that they, you know, this insures this 60-day period in case they go and get another lien. So during the closing period, the seller could go get another lien on the property, and then the buyer could be stuck with it, right? Whew, that made me mad because here everybody's paying. The real estate consumer's already paying this big chunk of money to be protected by the title company and the title insurance, and they're just lazy. They go look at all these liens and, oh, this is what we got to do, put it in the file, and 30 or 60 days later they pay it. They don't look again that day to make sure there's no liens. You have to pay extra for that? And the buyer's going to pay for it? The buyer's paying title insurance, the seller's paying title insurance, and you can't tell me that realtor was not getting a kickback? Or why would a realtor pitch title insurance, especially extra title insurance? So, a lot of issues on title insurance and title companies. Realestateindustrywhistleblower.com. Knowledge is power, folks. SavvyBroker.com.